unpack. We unpack, coming to you live, Boxing Ego unpack, yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack, coming to you live. Okay, Canelo Alvarez, he's sparring Jaron Boots Ennis for real now. Yeah, it gets real in the field. Canelo, payday, you'll want payday. I know that. Canelo Alvarez, he really sparring Jaron Ennis. Now, what up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Time to get unpacked. Often imitated, but never duplicated. Let me get in my bag, and we get unpacked. You've seen the photos at the beginning. Canelo Alvarez is actually sparring against Jaron Boots Ennis. Now, full disclosure, I've talked about this a lot already. We've seen the pictures of them. There were rumors of it, but this is the first time, like for starters, the rumors have been going on for over a month that the two were working together, right? So I reported it as such that they were sparring. However, there wasn't an actual indication that they were sparring, if that makes sense. So let me clean that up. We heard rumors that they were sparring. Check. There was pictures of them training together. Check. So these things checked out, and I reported it as such because I had heard the information long before the pictures surfaced. But now new pictures keep coming out day after day after day, and now we find pictures of them actually in the ring, because I got pictures with fighters in a boxing gym, but I didn't spar them. You see what I'm saying? So we knew Jaron was sparring Canelo Alvarez, but me, I'm a detail person, so I like to see it. I would actually like to see the sparring, but this, now we know they're sparring because these types of images that I played at the beginning are now available. They got the headgear. They sparring. They gloved up. They actually sparring. So crazy. Like here's a shot of them actually sparring. Crazy. Now, Jaron Boots Ennis, he a big dude. He looked big for that weight class or whatever. And he's definitely bigger than Canelo. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. He's bigger than Terrence Crawford as well. I really believe that. Crawford's doing his cut, and now that he's cutting, you see that weight is falling off of him. So I actually prefer Crawford to be light. I'll probably make an Ego Weight Watchers video regarding that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. As far as the sparring, I still feel the same way. It's sad. It's sad to see that we have the Bud Buddies and they're in pure hate mode, pure ignorance, and they rather talk bad about Boots and call him names and say he's a fool and say he's a sellout, all these things, rather than just be like, understand what it is. It's an opportunity and it's his job. Like, I wish somebody would tell Boxing Ego to not do something that's beneficial for my job because you don't like it. That I want to see that happen. I really do. Because y'all know me, I don't care. I'm going to keep it all the way wavy. I really don't care. So you just going to have to be mad at me. I'm going to do whatever I want that makes sense for my business, for my brand. Jaron's a professional fighter. Canelo's a professional fighter. Canelo is his OG in terms of age. There's a lot to be learned there, right? But we'll get into it. Let me get my headphones set up, and I'll show you why it's a bad look, right? Roll the clip.
Hey, Canelo, you might be getting that Chrysler 300. You getting that Chrysler 300 work right now. That's what you getting. Hey, Canelo, you might be getting that Chrysler 300. You getting that Chrysler 300 work right now. That's what you getting. But you ain't getting that. You getting that Bentley on the 13th. You getting that Bentley on the 13th, my boy.
Why is he hollering? Like, hey, this Canelo versus Boots got y'all losing y'all mind. Why is this man screaming, you getting that 13 on the Bentley? Blobbity blue blah blah blobbity blue blah. I ain't hear a word you said. Hibbity hoop blah. Is that a tank top or a new bra? Looks Snoop Dogg just got a boob job. Like, bro, the man is screaming. This Boots picture got y'all frazzled. We gonna keep going though, bro. Listen again.
Hey, Canelo, you might be getting that Chrysler 300. You getting that Chrysler 300 work right now. That's what you getting. But you ain't getting that. You getting that Bentley on the 13th. You getting that Bentley on the 13th, my boy. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead and play with that Chrysler 300. You getting the real on the 13th. I promise you, man. Shoot. I've been saying this since the first day I sparred this man. Trust me. I'm telling y'all, man, out there. Crawford is a different animal. Yeah, he's something like a Michael Jordan. He's something like a Kobe Bryant. He's something like a LeBron James. Yeah, damn it, he a GOAT. I'm telling y'all, GOAT.
What's up with the screaming and hollering, bro? Like, I don't know what this Boots picture did to y'all, but it really got y'all losing y'all mind. The Bud Buddies is like really like in a frenzy. He's something like LeBron and Kobe. Like, what? Like, that's not normal. Like, nobody, and this how you know, this is how you know it's bad. Literally, nobody on Canelo's team is doing this. Like that's why, like, for me, if I was in Crawford's position or whatever, I would keep my entourage super tight and super small because I wouldn't want people who think they're looking out for me making me look bad. I'm a different breed, so I'll be like, nah. Like, remember that Jonah Hill meme? Like, cut it. I'll be like, nah, bro. Because, like, why is Bradley screaming? Like, you can tell your point. Like, you're in a whip with nobody else there, and you're like yelling, like, about to pop a blood vessel to tell us that Crawford is something like Jordan and all these other people. And you said you can spar that Bentley or you can spar that Chrysler 300, but I mean, first of all, that's a Cat Williams joke. You know what I mean? And it was like a Chrysler 300 looked like a Phantom till the Phantom pop up or whatever. You know what I mean? So you stole somebody's joke. Then you're like screaming to the top of your lungs. It's just, I don't know. I'm not personally understanding it. All of this over the Boots picture, bro. All this yelling and screaming. Again, no one on Canelo's team is doing it. They're like, Crawford, I'll see you. So it makes Crawford's circle look like they haven't been here before because we're not done. So stay tuned to the end of the video. There's more to it. It gets worse. But you got Bradley campaigning with the pom-poms like this and screaming. Like, just tell us Crawford's a great fighter. You're picking him to win. Cool. But to make it like he's sparring, first of all, like this how you know Bradley is biased is you sparred Crawford and felt a type of way, but you never sparred Jaron Boots Ennis. So you're like calling him a 300 and saying Crawford's the real deal, but you haven't really been in the ring with the other guy. So how is that? How can you make an honest assessment when you haven't? You're giving Crawford all this credit because you sparred him, but you never sparred Boots. Boots might mess around and stop you in sparring. You see what I'm saying? So it's like What does that mean? So I feel like you're not even being fair at that point. You to call him a 300, but you never been in the ring with him, because Sean Porter did the same thing that that Bradley has done, where he was denigrating Boots. Sean Porter said that Boots was overrated. Tim Bradley basically has done interviews where he didn't sound too high up on Boots Ennis. But then some of the pictures came out of Porter sparring with Boots Ennis. It looked like Boots was kind of putting it on him. Now, it was a retired Porter, but still, he wanted to get in the ring with him, and he probably had a newfound respect for him, because now Porter's on his show. I mean, I ain't watched it, but I seen on the home screen, it says Boots is a secret weapon for Canelo. So Porter been in the ring with Boots, and Bradley hasn't. So that was Bradley. Now we're going to listen to what Bernie said. The man said, I'm going to state the fact, and then stated his opinion. Bro, you can't make this up. The man said, I'm just going to state the fact, and then stated nothing but pure opinion. You calling him a sellout, that's your own opinion of it. That ain't no fact. How is that a fact? Because I don't agree to that. Bro, Boots did, I've already went over this. Boots didn't do anything wrong by taking sparring work, right? Bud Crawford sparred a Mexican fighter who's a Mexican Olympian. Nobody called the Mexican Olympian out his name for sparring a black Bud Crawford when he's preparing for a Mexican fighter. Bud sparred with Lester Martinez, who's Latino. Nobody said he's a traitor to Latinos because you got Lester Martin on your team. Why do you think Boots owes you or Team Crawford anything to the point where he has to make judgment calls based on your approval? Do you see how bad this looks? You like, they're really trying it and saying he sold out and I don't know his price, but everyone got a price. What are you talking about? It's his job. Canelo, like, I mean, if Bud wasn't fighting Canelo and Canelo wanted to use him like a couple years ago to get ready for Danny Jacobs, Bud is going to say no. Like, what are we talking about? That's why I'm telling you, you got to be careful who you got on your team, because it be having people look bad. If way before we ever knew Canelo and Crawford would fight, when Crawford was at 147 and Canelo was like at 160, he was fighting Danny Jacobs. So you mean, and Crawford came up in the amateurs with Danny Jacobs. So if Canelo was trying to pay Crawford and work with him to get some black sparring in, Bud would say no, right? Bud would say no. Or if Pacquiao wanted to spar him, he's going to say no. My allegiance is to Floyd, who my career has nothing to do with his. Bad look.
You could say graciously. I guess Boots, he had his price. I don't know what he getting, but he sold out. That's all I can say. He's something like a Kobe Bryant. He's something like a LeBron James. Yeah.
I'm about to run the tapes back because I don't know if the sound was fully on. So I'm just going to play it from the top.
Hey, Canelo, you might be getting that Chrysler 300. You getting that Chrysler 300 work right now. That's what you getting. But you ain't getting that. You getting that Bentley on the 13. You getting that Bentley on the 13, my boy. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead and play with that Chrysler 300. You getting the real on the 13. I promise you, man. Shoot. I've been saying this since the first day I sparred this man. Trust me. I'm telling y'all, man, out there. Crawford is a different animal. Yeah, he's something like a Michael Jordan. He's something like a Kobe Bryant. He's something like a LeBron James. Yeah, damn it, he a GOAT. I'm telling y'all, GOAT.
Like I say, boy, everybody got a price, man. And I guess Boots, he had his price. I don't know what he getting, but he sold out. That's all I can say. He sold out. Now, I'm just going to state the fact. He sold out. That's it. He sold out. That's it. You know what I mean? And like I say, I don't knock Canelo, but come on. You could tell.
Bro, so he just said, I don't knock Canelo, but you knock the black fighter. And these fake FBA, fake pro-black dudes is trying to defend, like, and accuse Boots of being a sellout using Team Crawford. So you're blaming the black fighter for accepting the sparring work, but then you just said you don't knock Canelo. Why don't you knock him? He's the one that obviously linked up with Boots. Boots didn't facilitate that. So why don't you blame Canelo?
He sold out. That's it. You know what I mean? And like I say, I don't knock Canelo, but come on. You could say graciously, nah, I'm out of training, or I'm doing this, or you ain't got to tell him hell no. Nah.
Bro, the man said you could say graciously, I'm out of town. Why would Boots bro, this Boots sparring got y'all losing y'all mind. Why would Boots fake an injury, say he can't spar, say he left his gym bag for Bud? Somebody make that make sense. Why? Bro, he's saying you could graciously bow out and not spar Canelo. Why? Why would he do that? He gonna get paid. His brother was already sparring with Canelo, and he wants the experience, probably more than the pay, because he already get paid good, right? This man is Team Crawford telling Boots that he should have declined Canelo's offer. Why? So Bud's team is not calling you a sellout? Man, stop.
Tell him in a gracious way. Tell him in a gracious way. Appreciate the offer, but I ain't no sparring partner. Anything. But nah, here you go. Smiling, giggling, taking pictures. All right. So listen, we gonna whoop two asses that night. Canelo's and his. Okay? Canelo's and his. All right.
Bro, that logic is so skewed. He said we gonna be whooping two fighters that night. How? How are you whooping Boots? Like, no matter what happens in the Canelo fight, how are you whooping Boots? That don't even make no sense. That don't make any sense at all. You're whooping Boots because he sparred him? Like, bro, this can't be a real team, bro. This is how your team, that's why I said you got to be careful who you have in team, and team, how you looking crazy, right? So how many people, like, ready to fight her for a fight, and if the fighter loses, then that means they lost? Like, tell me this logic makes sense to you. Right? So Manny Pacquiao's fighting Floyd Mayweather, and let's say Sean Porter helps him. So Floyd Mayweather defeated Sean Porter and Manny Pacquiao and Ruslan Provodnikov and Amir Khan and whoever else sparred Pacquiao. Like, come on, bro. But again, this is Team Crawford. This is the energy that they bring. It makes no sense to me. The man said, I'm going to state facts, and then stated his opinion. Like, calling Boots a sellout, that's just wild. It don't make no type of sense. Boots, I've said it before, Boots does not owe anything to Team Crawford. Like, he got to get approval before he spar. That's not a thing. You know, I mean, you could call them names and say this, and if we want to be on pro black tip, how come Bud never gave him the look? Why didn't Bud reach out and say, hey, I'm trying to work with you, bro? Or when Boots was calling you out, why didn't you, if you care so much about the black experience, why didn't you fight Boots? You should have fought him. And then you would have kept the money between the two of y'all, like Errol Spence did. But you didn't extend no olive branch to Boots Ennis, so why would he politely decline in a gracious way because of Team Crawford? Like, this is pure stupidity. I didn't know that Canelo picking and sparring. Oh, look, there's me. I didn't know Canelo sparring against Boots would have this type of effect, because for me, I came up with this sport for 15 plus years now. So for me, this is just everyday stuff. You're trying to win. So you pull out all the stops, you work with who. There's people trying to do all these contortions and mental gymnastics to somehow spin this to a bad thing. Canelo is sparring Boots and somehow it's a bad thing. I've seen people say, oh, Canelo, this is a bad sign. Canelo must be worried because he's pulling out all the stops and he's sparring with Boots. Now they're trying to flip it. Now getting good work somehow means you're scared. That's like telling a rapper, like, oh, Pusha T and the Clips, they got a song featuring Kendrick Lamar. They were afraid their album wasn't going to sell, so they had to get Kendrick Lamar. They had to get Adele. They had to get Chris Brown. Like, bro, they're artists. They're working together with other people. That doesn't mean they're afraid their album is going to sell because they added a song with a guest feature. You see what I'm saying? But this is the type of logic that we're hearing. Boots being sparring with Canelo means Canelo is scared. Canelo's not just getting the best possible work with the best possible look, you know, with somebody who's like the new version of Crawford, switch hitter, black, American style, some slickness, aggressive, power, big, you know what I mean? You can't just, that would be too much like right to just say he's getting awesome work. So people have to try to spin it. Oh, Canelo's getting beat up. Look, there's a black eye. Just making stuff up. You didn't watch the sparring. How you know he got beat up? Boots, he's smiling from ear to ear. He didn't say nothing about I beat the ish out of Canelo. He ain't done one interview disparaging Canelo. But you guys are, right? You guys are saying what happened in sparring that you weren't there for. You guys are saying he sold out. You guys are saying Canelo's worried because he's sparring Boots. He been sparring Boots. He been sparring Boots' brother. So a bunch of clowns that are talking boxing in this modern age. And again, Bradley and Bernie, it looks bad because you're clearly pro Crawford. You say Crawford's going to win. Why do you care what anyone else is doing? When I make videos, I don't get approval. I don't check with other channels to see what they put out or if I could put out my video. I just move. A real boss just moves how the boss want to move. So kudos to Canelo for reaching out to a young black fighter and being like, hey, I'm trying to get top shelf work. He's a good fighter. I've sparred with your brother. Let's see what he got, right? And kudos to Boots. But anybody who's trying to make this into like name calling or somehow it's like a terrible link up, you sound stupid and you sound desperate and it sounds like fear. You sound worried to me.